Hey everyone, welcome to another Terry Talk. I have to admit, I've tried really hard. I really have tried really hard not to jump into the whole Twitter Elon Musk gong show, but I just can't keep quiet anymore. It's a little bit strange, isn't it? So just to recap everything. Elon Musk buys Twitter after a long process a few weeks ago now. Proceeded to cut about 50% of the staff there in a very unceremonious way. Now, let's be honest. For those of us looking from the outside in, it seemed like they're kind of, rooftop patios, and maybe things were a little bloated at Twitter. It happens. I don't know, but let's assume for it is. 50% though, in one day? That's pretty big. So, and just like several others this past year that we've talked about here, did it in a very impersonal manner, sort of by email and text message. If you're using a methodology to terminate people other than a face-to-face conversation, you're going to get blowback, and blowback we have at Twitter. So for those that have been asleep under a rock for the last little while, we are in a talent crunch. We simply do not have enough people. What that means is that employees now have more power in the relationship than they've ever had before. And I like to quote a famous 80s band, all my 80s brothers and sisters out there, you know what I'm talking about. Twisted Sister, that's right. We're not going to take it. That's become the rallying call of employees today. Appears Mr. Musk may have missed this little nugget. So after he guts his workforce by about 50%, he then sent an email, and some of you've probably heard about this, again, impersonal communication channel, stating that going forward to build a breakthrough Twitter 2.0 and succeed in an increasingly competitive world, we will need to be extremely hardcore. Expect long hours at high intensity. Wow, that's a value proposition coming by email. Probably no real reason or rationale given. And then the email said, this is the beautiful part. The email said, click yes if you want to stick around, and you had to do that by 5 o'clock on a certain date. Who does this? And if you didn't click on yes, meaning you didn't say no, but you just didn't click on it, that was assumed that you were leaving and they would severance you up accordingly. So there's a app out there called Blind. They went out and they've asked a bunch of people who worked at Twitter. They had about 180 people that responded. 42% of those that responded, and they know they're from Twitter. They do some background checks and whatnot. I'm taking the exit option. I'm free. Can you believe that? I'm free. This is the narrative at the time. A quarter said they were going to stay reluctantly, and about 7% said, yes, I'm in. 7%. Wow. So that's kind of epic. So let's review. You give people an ultimatum. The ultimatum is work your butts off here or leave. No work from home, no flexibility. And if you're not good with this, see you later. So a bunch of people quit. Shocker. So aside from breaking a multitude of laws, and yes, we may not agree with the laws, we may not agree with those restrictions, but just because you're rich, just because you don't like it doesn't mean you get to ignore them, although that does seem to be a trend today. There are rules in every jurisdiction around notice periods, minimum severance payments, etc. Plus, on top of that, it appears they have, 57% of females in Twitter have been let go, as opposed to 43 to 47% for males. So that just screams discrimination. Like, why bring attention to something like that? You must now come to the office. There's no work from home. If you have disabilities, forget it. Not going to be even considering duty to accommodate. Now, even the city of San Francisco is getting involved, because apparently they've turned some of the boardrooms of Twitter into sleeping accommodations for those work hard and give her all kind of people, which is in violation of code there. So now Elon Musk and the city of San Francisco, the mayor there, in a Twitter war, ironically enough, about laws and whatnot. So there's even a report of a custodian who got a note saying, we're going to replace your job with a robot. And that may be true. I know at Walmart the other day, there was a robot cleaning the floor, and that was kind of weird. Sort of stops because I was in the way. But anyway, this is not how you treat people. This is certainly not how you treat people when they have the power to vote with their feet and leave your organization. And that shouldn't be a reason. Just being a good human being should be enough reason. But just that fact alone, they have power should take hold. Then, just over the weekend, Musk is now requiring his employees to pledge not to leak information about the company to the press. Otherwise, they will face legal action. Threats, punishment, impersonal communication. Okay. If you're confused by this, punishing people, forcing them to comply hardly ever goes well. If you know my friends Richard Haddon and Bill Catlett over at Contented Cows, you got to check these guys out. Brilliant guys. And they wrote a phenomenal book, a couple actually, over the last couple of years. To quote Richard, work is contractual. Engagement, that's deeply personal. And I don't think Elon Musk is getting that. And now Twitter's in trouble. People are not beating a pathway to the door. If you want people to stay in your organization, the trifecta: mastery, make sure they get really good at their craft; autonomy, tell them what has to get done, get out of their way; purpose, tell them why they're doing it. And listen, making Elon Musk more rich than he already is probably not that scintillating a purpose or value proposition. So we'll stay tuned. We'll see. Let's face it, Elon Musk is a whole lot richer than I am. So I'm not sure that necessarily makes him the smartest person in the room, but maybe he's onto something. I don't think so. But as always, we love to hear your comments on this. I suspect we'll start to see Twitter go through some pretty serious pains over the next little while. Difficulty with employee, difficulty with engagement, toxic culture. These are the things that you typically see coming out of events like we've seen over the last month or so since Elon Musk has taken over. But let's see. We'll wait and see. So as always, share your comments down below. Hit that subscribe button. Love to hear from you. Love to get your point of view. Remember, mastery, autonomy, purpose. Employees are not assets, Mr. Musk. They're investors. Treat them as so. You'll have a better organization.